In today's video, we're going to be talking about how starting with your lower body first in your downswing is not only going to help the sequence of events start to occur naturally, but it's going to help you generate more speed, more power in your golf swing. Stay tuned for more info. Welcome back to the TruGolf Academy. You've joined me, Jon Watts, today at Branston Golf and Country Club. Today's video, as I mentioned there in the intro, is all going to be about the sequence of events from the top of the backswing to the start of the downswing, how we're going to start with our lower body first. And I'm going to be covering a term called disassociation. So disassociation is just trying to get shoulders to move without hips, hips to move without shoulders, rather than everything moving together. So it's creating that separation. And I'm just going to demonstrate here by simply using a tour stick, pushing it through my belt loops, which is a great exercise to do to understand what your hips are doing. And I'm just going to hold the club across my shoulders. So what I'd like to see on the backswing here is a good full 90-degree shoulder turn. And depending on the level of flexibility of that golfer, they're going to need their hips to turn somewhere between 30 and 60 degrees. The more flexible you are, the less you're going to need those hips to rotate. But most of us are going to need those hips to turn perhaps half of our shoulders. So we're going to create a full 90-degree shoulder turn. We're allowing our hips to turn to create that. Now, if I've created 90 shoulder turn and 45 hip turn, I've got 45 degrees between my shoulder turn and hip turn. What we see with the elite golfers is they increase that gap between the shoulder turn and hip turn at the start of the downswing. What we see with a lot of poor sequence golfers is they start with their upper body, and by the time they're quarter of the way, halfway down, they've already got their shoulders to catch up with the hips. What we see with the best players in the world is the shoulders don't actually catch up with the hips until a couple of feet after we've hit the golf ball. So post-impact, my shoulder line catches up to my hip line. What I don't want to see is my shoulders catching up to my hips very early in the downswing. I want to feel like my lower body is actually racing a little bit ahead of my upper body. So the sensation in the start of the downswing is actually that we're going to hold our upper body back a little bit and start with our lower body. Now, I've talked a lot about the sequence events and the lead knee position. So the lead knee for me is my left knee as a right-handed golfer, and how we can start that movement with that lead knee moving out and around. What does that do? It gets my hips starting to work first. And I've again filmed videos talking about centering the hips, all about this subject. So if it's of interest to you, if it's something you're struggling with, I will put some links up here that are really going to help you out, well worth checking out, about how we can start with our lead knee or our lead hip to try and actually get our hips to move before our upper body. So the sequence of events is try and increase that gap between our shoulder turn and our hip turn at the start of the downswing. It's that feeling for me. Now, my hips are back to square when my club is still behind me and my shoulders are effectively closed, pointing out to the right of the target. By the time my shoulders come into impact, my hips are very open and my shoulders won't catch up with my hips until after impact. And that's what we're really looking for in a very well sequenced downswing. So I'm not going to talk a lot about whether it's the knee, whether it's the hip. I'll let you feel that in your movement there. And as I said, check out the other videos I filmed on this. But a great exercise for you just to wind up to the top to get that full 90 shoulder turn, whatever hip turn you need to allow that to happen, and then work on the first feeling of keeping the upper body back, but starting the downswing with the lower body. That is a real big power source if we can start to get it happening correctly. I'm going to use the cane through my hips, but because of that, I'm just going to do a really slow pace swing. I'm definitely not going to put a lot of power into it. So maybe push most of the stick through towards the target. But I'm just going to get that sensation that I start down. It's a minute move, but with my lower body first. I like the feeling of almost holding my upper body back and starting with that lead knee, lead hip. But when you get that practice, you'll tell me what that move is for you. So just a slow pace movement, but I'm just getting that sensation of starting the downswing with my lower body, before I start putting that into a fuller pace golf swing, use it as a driving range, use it as a home to start to sequence that downswing better. It's starting with the lower body first in the transition, not the upper body that we see with so many inefficient golf swings. If that video has helped, make sure you hit the thumbs up and do subscribe to my channel for all the other content, at least 2 videos a week. Cheers guys, we'll see you soon.